Happy Wednesday and welcome into College Football Mornings. I am Chris Moxley. You can find me at ChrisMoxley19 on Twitter and everything I do at Campus Duquesne as usual. College Football Mornings, if you haven't listened to us before, is an in-season morning show every weekday where we talk about sits, starts, waiver moves, news, betting, etc. in a compact form on the C2C network. If you are watching this, make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube where we have content every morning and multiple weekly shows coming down the pipeline, including the official Campus Canton's recruiting podcast, Debbie Debate, Bet on C2C, and a new show, Friday Night Lights, detailing high school player production. Wednesdays is our PrizePicks 5 and 5, where hopefully I can give you 5 PrizePicks plays that I like this week, and hopefully 5 minutes. If you haven't used PrizePicks before, we have promo code C2C. They give you a match up to $100 and $29.99 towards a credit of a Campus Duquesne membership that you can use that towards. Let's kick it off. Jayden Reed, Michigan State wide receiver, over 89.5 receiving yards. They lost Jalen Naylor, and he's a really big play fed against a poor Western Michigan defense. I like Naylor a lot this week. I like Jayden Reed a lot this week. I think he can hit this in maybe 2 or 3 plays. I think he's going to be the primary passing target for Peyton Thorne, and they're favored by 21 points. I think this production can come early, and I think this production can come before the first quarter ends even. I just don't trust the Western Michigan defense in its current iteration. Second play, Travion Henderson over 15.5 receiving yards. I've been thinking about how I can play this game, and I'm really interested in what the best angle was, and I decided on this one. He exceeded this mark in 5 games last year, but Notre Dame has a quality defense, and he might actually be the best outlet play rather than forcing the ball to Jackson Smith-Njigba or a secondary receiver. They might toss it down to Travion Henderson a handful of times. He ended the season with 18 receptions in 5 games. If he gets 3 receptions in this game, I think he should be easily over 15. I'm targeting him, and I really actually think this line's pretty good to value him at this week. Ohio State is favored, but I think this is the safest line to play Travion at, all things considered. His rushing line is close to 100, and I think I would rather go with the receiving line against a good defense. Next, Central Michigan running back Lou Nicholls, under 18.5 fantasy points. I don't trust Lou Nicholls this week because the defensive line for Oklahoma State is incredible. They have 3 legit disruptors. Tyler Lacey, Brock Martin, Trace Ford will be back this week. I think this team is just going to shut down the line of scrimmage. I think it'll be hard for Central Michigan to score. I really like the under here, and I like the under on the yardage when the yardage was not 72.5. I think I'm not going to touch that. I am going to touch the fantasy points. The yardage dropped 25 yards since go live, so that kind of tells you what the public is thinking as well. I think fantasy points is the safer play, especially in this matchup against a very good defense. The only comparable we have for Lou Nicholls, since he plays a very heavy MAC schedule, is last year against LSU. He went 12 for 18 on the ground. I think this is a better defense than what LSU was given last year, and the spread, again, is over 21 points. So I want to be targeting the under on Lou Nicholls fantasy points. Fourth, Pittsburgh tight end Gavin Bartholomew, over 2.5 receptions. So he actually hit this in 3 of his last 5 games last year as the tight end 2 next to Lucas Krull. So he's still operating as a tight end 2 and was managed to hit these numbers. I think the offense is going to be a little bit different with the loss of Jordan Addison, and I think that he is the most tenured and probably most reliable option for the Panthers this week. I think 2.5 is well within his range of outcomes, and I probably would play this up to 3.5. Luckily, we don't have to because it's at 2.5. I think they're going to throw it. They won't throw it as much as they did last year, but I like Bartholomew, especially in the short and intermediate game, and I'm not worried about the back 7 of West Virginia all that much. Finally, Spencer Sanders, Oklahoma State quarterback, over 42.5 rushing yards. He hit this in 8 games last year, including twice in his non-conference matchups out of 3. I'm really interested in this matchup for Spencer Sanders. I think Spencer Sanders is a very quality quarterback for the type of play style that he has, and 42.5 just isn't really scary to me. He is well within this range a bunch of times. I think he can easily run against the Central Michigan defense, and I think we're going to see a player in Sanders who wants to show off a little bit and try to reach a next level ceiling that he hasn't quite hit yet. So give me over 42.5. Let's run through our 5 for 5. Jayden Reed, Michigan State wide receiver, over 89.5. Travion Henderson, Ohio State running back, over 15.5 receiving yards. Jayden Reed is over receiving yards as well. Lou Nicholls, under 18.5 fantasy points, Central Michigan running back. Pittsburgh tight end Gavin Bartholomew, over 2.5 receptions. And Oklahoma State quarterback Spencer Sanders, over 42.5 rushing yards. Those are our PrizePicks 5 for 5. Keep watching the morning show. Again, like, subscribe, follow Kansas Canton and everything we do, and you're going to get a couple more of these later this week. So let's win. Let's make some money.